Okay. Hey, Casper. How are you? Oh, okay. Um, oh, um, well, I'm doing this live because yesterday I seen a fucking video about, or of this woman literally praising the fact that, um, one of the states was making vasectomies mandatory, and her and everybody in the comments basically were saying that they hope that happens. Plus another video that my friend Declan made, or I don't fucking know how to say his name. Like literally somebody had said that children as young as 13 years old should be forced to have vasectomies, and I'm like, how can people think that way? And how can people be so uninformed of vasectomies? Like, so much so that they believe a child should get them. Like, I don't fucking understand these people, dude. It's kind of gross. But hi, how are you doing? Honestly, I don't even. So, the reasoning for all of these people saying this is because pregnancy is only the man's fault. I'm not up to much. I'm trying to talk about this video that I stitched and another video that I had duetted, basically talking about vasectomies being mandatory. One of them, there was apparently a law or bill being passed in one of the states saying that men will be forced to have mandatory vasectomies, and another one where one of these people on Twitter basically said that boys as young as 13 years old should be forced to have vasectomies, which both of those videos pissed me off because the one about the bill, this person was like, um, well, they are trying to ban abortion, so we should have mandatory vasectomies. And I was like, okay, tell me the last time that there was a bill being passed that forced women to have mandatory tubules or hysterectomies. Because, like, technically, tubules can be reversed. But they would never put a mandatory law for women to get tubules, right? Like, but vasectomies, let's fuck with their balls real quick. Hey, um, if anybody wants to join and talk with me about this, that would be cool. Feels weird just sitting here kind of talking to myself. Oop, my mom's home with the puppy. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell y'all, I got a puppy now. Oop.
I got you. I'm not gonna like trust me. I know how it is being on live and wanting people to join and joining. So
Yeah,
I decided to go ahead and join for you. I am driving, so I'm not gonna have my camera on. I'm just listening and
yeah,
talking.
that's fine. Be safe though if you're driving, man.
Oh, no, I do hands free everything whenever I'm driving. Like if I'm on TikTok while driving, it's solely to listen. It's not to look or anything like that.
Yeah, I totally get that.
But my biggest issue with this whole situation is, and I specifically say populate people are looking at it through the wrong lens. Like my own opinion on this is, if you look at everything being pushed and portrayed in media right now, everything, everything is about mutilating children's genitals, pushing relationships that don't necessarily result in having children. And if we look at all the compounding issues of all of this, it leads back to a decline in population. And we see it in like Japan right now, where the older population, and a good example for us would be the boomers, they're getting out of the workforce, and we're seeing a labor shortage, which is specifically due to people having children later, um, people pushing relationships that don't result in children, or pushing not just birth control, because I agree with birth control, but pushing mutilation of younger and younger people's genitals that'll result in, once again, no children, which will ultimately cause a compounding effect on population decline.
Yeah. Um,
And if
yeah, I
oh, go
totally
ahead.
get what you're saying. I honestly, like, it does seem like more and more as time goes on, they're trying to do anything and everything to lower the population, and it's kind of sad and really
My
disgusting, especially since, like, it isn't even
the
like media, it's just people who want
the question
children
the
to.
question is the question is why though? Why is it being pushed so heavily to lower the population? That's the question that should be
I have
asked. Because
no clue.
you know what I mean?
People, yeah, apparently people think that the Earth is overpopulated with humans, but I really don't think the Earth is. 'Cause it's a massive fucking place and people are always talking about like, oh, well, there were studies done with rats, and I'm like, we're not rats.
The issue people have is they don't have concept of scale. For example, if we took everyone inside in the entire world, like on the entire world, and stood them shoulder to shoulder, everyone could fit in. Everyone in the entire world could fit into the state of Texas comfortably, shoulder to shoulder. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to be living like that, but tech, and while Texas is huge, it's tiny in comparison to the rest of the world.
Yep.
Like Africa dwarfs Texas. The issue is like people don't have a real true concept of how big the earth is. So why are we trying to push for a population decline? At at worst, we should be trying to maintain the global population, not trying to push for a decline in global population.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm having my friend come on here quick, but no, I totally agree because, like, while I'm not extremely knowledgeable on all of the, stuff with like population and everything, but like I know a lot about vasectomies and all this stuff. People trying to push it. It's like that is a procedure meant to be permanent. That is not some sort of like fail safe where if this person, this boy sometime later in life wants to have children, they can just get it reversed. That's not how it works. No matter what
Low
the
key, I
reasoning
didn't
for
even,
it is.
your videos educated me more about vasectomies than I've ever been educated. Because I mean, as a dude, like that, as a male that has a child, that's not something that has ever crossed my mind. Oh, let me get a to me, getting a vasectomy is kind of reserved for maybe when you're 40, 45, already have children, and you don't want to risk having another one. That to me is
Yeah,
whenever you should be like, all right, maybe get a vasectomy. But even for me, just looking at the way that hormones and hormone levels affect the plasticity of your brain, which people don't realize how much hormones affect memory retention, the ability to actually logically. Your hormone levels do a lot for brain plasticity that people don't even take into account. And like a vasectomy stops and mitigates a lot of your hormonal production later in life,
yeah,
to the point that even men with vasectomies end up having to get like HRT. Men, like males, have to get hormone boosters later in life if they've had vasectomies to be able to make their testosterone levels at an acceptable range.
yeah. And it's really fucked that like people want children to get this. Like, why literally cause a child to be infertile in the future or even just then? Because it's like, what the fuck? Oh, yes. If
The issue is people need. I'm in a bad area, so if I start talking and I'm talking over you, I'm sorry. Like
that's
I'm
okay.
getting lag here, so I'll just stop talking because I heard you start talking. Go ahead.
Okay. Um, to the question in the comments, yes, a vasectomy can cause um, possibly complete infertility. Um, More often than not, since very few people actually get it reversed, most of the people who have end up having to get some form of thing to help get their fertility back rather than the reversal itself actually helping because um, in the testicles, there's these two tubes, right? And those connect to where sperm comes out of. The sperm, that's where the fertility is. Um, if you cut those two tubes or one of those tubes, that will cause complete infertility.
Yeah. Like I was what can't speak. I it's been a long day, okay? But like I had that whole Twitter thread sent to me last night, and it was right after I made that video. It took me an hour to make that video, so it was about 3 in the morning ish. I had seen that, and I threw up. Like, I threw up. It wasn't even the fact that we're talking about vasectomies. They're literally preying on children.
Yeah, and like,
We're
so
trying to
there
set
was,
real babies, you know?
yes. So like, there was your video that I duetted, but then there was also another video that you also sent me that I stitched. Like, I don't even have words for some of these people. Like, the video that you had sent me, the people in the comments, it's like, I actually fucking went all ham and started responding to most of the disgusting comments on there. 'Cause it's
Yeah.
like, how can people think this way? Like, people
Mhm.
were saying men are the only reason why people get pregnant.
Yeah.
How does that make any sense? If you both consented,
Yeah.
you
Like,
both consented to the possibility of pregnancy.
like this is just the way I see it, and I've been going over this for about 24 hours now, but like, and I do not mean this to sound misogynistic, but it might. But women just want to not take responsibility, and they
Exactly.
like I'm all for sexual empowerment and all this and all that, but at the same time, if you consent and you're going to have sex with someone, you both need to take precautions. You know,
Yeah,
like
like if one or both of them does not take the precautions to not get pregnant, they are both equally at fault for if there is a pregnancy
yeah,
that
but like
happens.
Hold on. So tires. In your comment, you were asking about males and like vasectomy and hormone levels. So there's with males, there's hormones released post ejaculation, and I know people don't want to talk about that, but there is. That doesn't necessarily get released unless an ejaculation happens. That contributes to like to plasticity in males' brains, and also reduces the risk of prostate cancer. Taking that away from them um, significantly affects hormone levels, as well as future like or excuse me, as well as brain development and clarity.
Yeah. And like on the topic of, oh, there's a worm in my gecko's tank. Sorry. I got confused for a second. It's his food. But with vasectomy, like people are trying to use that as some form of birth control, and with what you just said, right? Like development and whatever. Birth control can do the same thing because it blocks those hormones, and it's almost like in a way a puberty blocker, but it's meant to prevent pregnancy. And it's like it's really dangerous for little girls. I myself can kind of attest to that because I had been put on birth control when I was 13 years old, and I didn't fully start like going through puberty until I hit 17 years old when I completely got off birth control for like almost a year.
I'm gonna turn you down. I gotta walk in the store. I'll be right back.
Okay.
like so arrogant
Mm-hmm.
that if men have the well,
You're cutting out.
um, but like
Huh?
they were so
Be
arrogant.
careful with it. All right. Really?
Yes, mother.
Yeah,
Hello, puppy. I'm live right now.
Can I get cash back from y'all?
Okay. Come on, friends. Watch. Listen for your brother.
I'm
Okay.
glad I didn't try it because it literally just says ATM temporarily out of service. Yeah. All right.
but but like they were so arrogant to say that if men had birth control, they wouldn't be taking it. When who's the ones who
Honestly,
lie about getting birth control?
yeah,
Who
like
who financially traps men?
mm-hmm. Like, I obviously can't speak for all men, but my
Yeah.
boyfriend specifically, he would gladly take it. Neither him nor I want children at all, like at this moment, and we would both gladly take birth control. I myself am shitty at remembering to get the fucking
Yeah. Oh,
stuff, but like, dude, I forgot to call back like a month after I was supposed to get my shot. But me and him would both equally take birth control to prevent any form of pregnancy happening because, like, no person who isn't ready for a child wants a child, and people don't seem to
yeah.
understand that.
And like,
Especially these, like, weird feminist people. It's fucking, like, what the hell?
yeah, sure. Like feminists these days, and I'm not speaking about how feminists started, but modern feminists these days, they want to basically put men through what they actually put through, and like they think that taking a tablet or taking a shot is oppression. It's not. It's 100%.
It's really not. The only reason why it would be a form of oppression is if they're forced to take that when they do not want it, right?
Yeah.
Like most of the time, like with my situation and many other people who I've talked to who have been on birth control, they
Mm.
both we all equally like
Yeah.
we wanted that. We did not get forced to be put onto it.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right. And like in my situation, I chose to stay on birth control because of my period, right? Like
Yeah.
most people who get birth control, it's because of our period, especially when when we are put on it at a really, really young age, you know? And I
Yeah.
don't think these people who are saying that having to take being the only sex cap that has any form of birth control is somehow oppression is weird. Because
Yeah.
they've been trying to get a really good, effective birth control for men that's not going to have negative effects for a very long time. And the one that I know of literally caused horrible suicidal thoughts, and many of the people committed suicide. And
Mm-hmm.
people don't seem to understand that. And they're like, "Oh, but the the side effects were the same as the women's." And I'm like, "Yes, but men are not as emotionally capable of dealing with those things sometimes because of how society treats them, that
Yeah.
they're more likely to do it anyways. They already are more likely to commit suicide. So why would we force them to have a
Yeah.
birth control that causes suicidal thoughts and possibly even worse mental problems in the future if they decided to stay on it and didn't commit suicide?"
Yeah. Like as it is, um men do not have that support when it comes to suicide, mental health, no.
No.
Um and if men do take birth control with
Mm-hmm.
those side effects and every man takes it and that affects every man, there'll be no men.
Yep.
You wouldn't even need birth control then. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
like
And like,
um
dude, people will try to say like, "Oh, well, we don't need men because they have this new thing with bone marrow where you don't need another man." And I'm like, "Dude, that pregnancy would only last max 3 weeks, and if it did last that long, the baby would die hours after it. Not even hours after it's born. Like, y'all need to stop it."
plus I've got something to say as a gay man to people who say they do not need men. I need men. I need the validation. I need to feel good. I need the ego, okay?
Mm-hmm. Like,
I
no, I totally get what you're saying. Agreed. No, people who want mandatory vasectomies do not know anything about them. Um, any person who, man or woman, who wants mandatory vasectomies are, honestly, in my opinion, disgusting human beings. They don't do anything but cause complete infertility, which will then lessen the population, which will then possibly cause even worse problems.
yeah. Like if we went around and said women should have mandatory abortions, or women should have mandatory having their tubes tied, that would not be okay. That would be
No,
sexist. That would be misogynist. Yes, I agree. Like, I know there's like a ban on abortions, and as someone who, and again, I might get hate for this, I am pro-life, not because
I
religion,
totally get that. Yeah,
like I obviously agree with abortion in some very extreme circumstances, but
that's
if
how I
you
am, but I don't consider myself either pro-choice or pro-life at all. Um, I
like,
I think
I'm go ahead.
okay, I think that they should be there
Yeah,
um for those extreme cases, but also like maybe the woman is in an abusive relationship as
yeah,
well, and having a child would force her to stay there because
yeah.
that man may be the only like thing
Form of
that's
income. Yeah,
yeah, and like in my opinion, abortion should only be here for extreme cases, but as long as abortion is here, people are going to use it for more than that.
yeah. Like for example, I think you made a video about this dude. I know Matt did. But there was a blonde lad. He said if a woman is raped, she should still give birth.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just like, look, I'm pro-life, but you are so wrong here
Mm-hmm.
because, like, while I don't know the struggle of being pregnant, um,
Mm-hmm.
I have seen people obviously be pregnant while it puts them through, and I've also known people, men and women, who have been raped. So you should never force someone to carry a child like that because not only is it painful for them, they would also grow to hate that child.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've seen that. Like, um, I'm not going to say the name because they are on TikTok, but I do know someone on TikTok who was assaulted, they had a baby, and they ended up having to give the child up for adoption because they could not,
Yeah.
the child as they wanted to. So like, it's just all like there's different reasons why I agree with it. I don't agree with it in every circumstance, but you do you if that's what you want to do. I'm gonna have an opinion on abortion, but don't let that affect you. What does my opinion matter? You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I think the main reason I actually get called a misogynist is because I'm pro-life half the time, and I'm just
Probably. I
like
mean,
I was,
yeah, I totally get what you mean. You've seen the comments that I've been given. I'm mostly called a pick me, but I also don't really talk about like abortion and stuff like that. So,
yeah, like, to be honest, pick me girls are amazing. Pick me male feminist boys. Um, yeah, that's all I can say.
yeah,
That's just all I can say.
yeah. But um
Shout out to Tom Matt
okay.
Demo.
I don't know how to say this person's user, but um I made two videos about this. One was duetting this person's video and another was stitching a woman's video saying that she wants a bill to be passed that will force men to have mandatory vasectomies. I don't know the specifics, but that is like that's just what they said. That's all I know as much as that goes. But there are people who are wanting mandatory vasectomies for even children as young as 13 years old, and
Yeah.
I'm going live at the moment to talk about it, which we have been. I don't even know how long I've been on here yet. I almost 30 minutes talking about this. So
Like,
I do not agree with it.
I don't know that. Like, I, I'm all for if someone wants to have a vasectomy by their own free will without anyone forcing them into it or
Hmm.
guilting it even, they should have that choice. You know,
Yeah, just like any person has the choice to do any other thing. Like, we should not force anybody to basically be forced to be sterilized for possibly their entire life. There's no
least of all,
reason for that.
because not only are you just talking about that, you're also sexualizing them, and that is like
Hmm. Like,
pedophilic. So,
yeah,
like,
like, why are you thinking that, I mean, not saying it's impossible to happen, but why are you thinking that a 13-year-old is going to be having sex and you want them to be forced to?
let's 13, I was probably running around in my sister's tutu with lipstick running down my cheek. Let children be children at that age, you know? Like,
Exactly. Like, when I was, I mean, I can't really say much when I was 13. I was, that's a different story. But like 13-year-olds, like, they are around the puberty age, right? They're more than likely going to be learning about sex and the ways to keep from it happening, but that does not mean that you force specifically boys to have a vasectomy for
yeah,
no reason whatsoever. Like, teach them the proper ways to prevent it just in case that they choose to have sex, but don't be automatically assuming they're going to.
yeah,
I know when I was 13, that's not what I was thinking about until I had actually had sex.
yeah. Like, at the age of like 16, 17, then talk to them about it, you know, when they're a bit, when they've seen, not seen things, that sounds so wrong, but like, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know
But
what you mean.
not those sorts of things. Uh, but like, when they're more mature to talk about it, you know, like, my mom and dad, we never spoke about that sort of thing. We never talked
Same.
about that sort.
I learned about sex and the ways to prevent it in 8th grade, so I was about 13, 14 years old, I
Yeah,
believe.
like, there was people coming into my school when I was like 14 and 15 talking to us about it, and I'm like, um, I feel very uncomfortable, so I left. Let's just
Yeah,
say
here we
I
had to have parents' consent to do any of that. And if we had the parents' consent, we were forced to stay in the class, but
yeah, I had my consent, but I just didn't feel comfortable. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And like when I was in my first year in high school, like secondary school over here, like literal first year, a few months into my first year, we were literally talking about sex, and I was what, 11, 12.
whoa, what?
But now it was a science class to learn about the reproductive system, but I came out of school and I'm like, because I knew at this point I was gay, so yeah, it was very uncomfortable already, and my mum was waiting out the school gate for me. I'm like, so what did you learn about today? And I literally just went to, we learned about the disgusting tickle tickle thing. That's literally what I called it. So like, the what?
Uh,
I did not know what to call it because I felt
yeah,
I didn't want it to be like adulty. It's like, and then I really went into it, and so like, oh, like my mom didn't even know I was gay at that point, although she probably did. She just didn't say anything. Um,
hmm.
well, no, I felt so uncomfortable. Yeah,
Okay, so when I was in 8th grade, I was like 13, 14 years old. I wasn't there for my first class. Like, I went to kind of two different schools in that grade. I wasn't there for like the very first sex ed class, but I went to the last one that was in the other school I was going to, and I missed one of the classes. And apparently, the teacher put a condom on a guy's arm to show how they work.
yeah. Like we had we had someone come in from a charity that deals with abuse and sexual trauma and all this. It was called Nexus, and what they literally, I was wondering to myself, because this was when I was still in this class situation, before I walked out. But I walked out nearly because of this, and I was just like, how are they allowed to show this to, how old was I? 15 or so? How were they allowed to show us? Because what they did was they used it, they called it a penis mold. It was a dildo.
Dude, that happened.
And they put a condom on a
Same thing
dildo.
happened
This is
in my.
school.
Dude, I do not understand how schools allow like legitimate dildos to be used. They could find a medical thing that could be used to teach these things, but no, even my teacher, she wasn't even like um so she wasn't meant to do this class. Like she wasn't a doctor, she wasn't a gynecologist, she wasn't anything. She was just, I think she was an English teacher from what I remember. And I'm like, why is there a dildo in here and has this ever been used? Because that's what I was thinking. I already knew what all of that stuff was because I had already, whatever. But I
Like,
was like, what the fuck?
like you couldn't tell me any different. A penis mold, if you look on any website that sells them, it's literally called a penis mold. I'm just like, you bought a dildo. It wasn't made of silicone or anything, but it was definitely something of that nature. I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was just saying to my friend, next week they will be taking a DVD from fucking Pornhub in to show us how to do it. And he's just saying like, I'm really hoping they do that. And I'm like, really?
So, yeah. Thankfully, that never happened. Like, I would hope it didn't happen to you, but like that definitely didn't happen to me. But instead, it was an animated video, not like a porn video. It was an educational video
Is
showing.
this like a man jumping into a pool and like a ring? No, was it a woman? No, because the one we had over here, it was women in a pool in like the wee inflatable floaty things, and a man jumping into it.
No.
That's what
It
we
was
had.
like actually showing how that stuff works. Like the girl was. I want to explain this. I might get. I'm not gonna.
It's okay. You don't have to.
No, I'm not gonna explain it. But like, dude, sex ed classes are fucking weird. I
Like
don't
this
even.
is why I just taught myself. I'm not going to go into it in detail, but I taught myself.
Same.
But
I'd.
like there was a person came into our school, and there was one assembly full of boys. There was one assembly full of girls. So the man took over the boys, and the woman took over the girls. And now this really angered me. I was only, what, 16, 17 at this point? And it was what women have to do when they're walking home in the dark, and what men should do to make women feel safer.
What the fuck?
I stuck my hand up. So it's like, hello? And back at this point, I was out, okay? Like, I literally had makeup on, and I don't ask. That was my makeup face. But I was like, yes. What about the men that get followed home? What about the men that get abused, especially by women? And I wasn't a male
Mhm.
activist at this point, but I knew that I wanted to be. And she's like, "Oh, don't be ridiculous. That doesn't happen." What?
Yeah.
But they said something that really, really angered me, and it stuck with me to this day. And I reported them for it. I actually went down to the place where they came from and reported them. So like, look, I don't think you have to worry about that. And I'm like, you are? You said it
Yeah.
out loud, eh?
Yeah, that's really fucking disgusting that any person would say that. It's like,
I was just like I obviously it hurt at the time, but back then, being the sassy bitch I was just like, okay then, karma will be a bitch.
Yep.
Basically doing all the yes. But all the boys in that assembly just went like, yeah, he/she can stand up for him/herself. Like they were all just going like, yeah, go on.
Yeah.
But no, like, but like it's just disgusting how people look at men and think men cannot be victims. Men are the evil ones. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, men are evil. Not all men, but a lot of men can be evil. But when you think about it, 1% of rapists are men, or something like that.
Yeah.
No,
And
sorry,
that's of like the entire world's
1% of men
population.
are rapists. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, like I'm not going to say women, but feminists these days just seem to think that men are like dinosaurs. They go out and they roam, taking what they want. I'm like, to be honest, no, we're just running home to get back on the PlayStation.
That's me,
Honestly,
except
we walk fast.
yeah, I don't understand these people who like go around saying like, oh, men are evil monsters and blah blah blah. Like, no, people are evil just as
Yeah.
a whole. Why are you trying to put it on one
Like,
demographic of people just because they have extra parts?
yeah. Like, I don't trust people at all. Like, I even said this to my mum years ago. It's slightly changed now. But I, a few years ago, didn't even trust my own mother. And if you can't trust your own mother, it really means you can't trust anyone. It wasn't she did at all. We've obviously had our issues, but I just am that sort of person. I'm very realistic. Um, and like I try and see the world for what it really is instead of living in like a fantasy world, even though I love Harry Potter. But like people just cannot be trusted because people lie. They use you to get what they want. They um want you to be there for them, but if you need them, they're nowhere to be found. So like,
Yeah. I've noticed that, like, in my experience, it's mostly been women who are like that.
yeah.
Um, like,
Plus, like women, they don't like. Well, they do physically abuse people. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but the majority of the time, that is emotional manipulation. It is narcissism. It is games. It is if I die tomorrow,
wait a second. If you go onto my page, it should be the second video, not any of the pinned videos. There is a video that I stitched. You can go watch that person's video, and if you want, you can also go look through their comments as well, and you will see that. And there's also a video on their page that I duetted. If you want to go to either of our pages, of women specifically saying that they want men to have mandatory vasectomies and saying that boys as young as 13 years old should be forced to have vasectomies.
like, what was I even talking about?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I'll come back to me. But like, no, I actually forget how I was going with that. Alexa, what was I just talking about? Since I like listen all the time.
Dude, imagine if we do as well. We're kind of going on a tangent that kind of would go along with,
Like,
vasectomies and all of those things, but we
I
completely
never,
disagree with that.
like, I never ever say this, but I want this video that I made to blow up. And I never say I want a video to blow up. I'm not here for the views or the likes. I'm just here to sort of speak about it and to
Mhm.
start a conversation. Like, it doesn't really bother me if I get likes or views or not, but I'll still talk about it.
Yep.
Give me the likes and views anyway, please. Do not take that as saying I don't want them.
Mhm.
But um that this one blows up so we can take a stand against it. So if
Yeah.
this was to happen, we could stop it in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally feel that. I mean, the very first video I made that got me 1,000 followers was
Mm-hmm.
literally about vasectomies and just basic knowledge about them. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Like,
And I think that's almost at 7,000 views, which isn't a whole lot, but that's still a lot of people at the same time.
how many accounts ago was that?
This account.
Well, this account. Because
Hmm.
I think you've had about at least 4 accounts deleted.
This is my fifth one.
Yeah. That one I created yesterday, um that's my fifth one. Although my other one got reinstated, so that's back
None of
up.
my accounts have been reinstated at all. I was
None?
never given the option to appeal any of them.
Really?
Yeah.
The,
And every time I emailed like any of the emails, they would just say, sorry, we can't do anything about this.
yeah, like, did you like log in to try and get in and did it not say appeal?
Hmm.
God, that's weird.
Yeah, it would completely um log me out, and
Mm,
then it would not let me sign back in at all. It wouldn't give me any appeal option. It wouldn't do anything. And it
yeah,
like there was no warnings that my account would actually be permanently banned. There was just
yeah,
the um warning that I would get like post banned or put in view only mode, but nothing any more than that. So,
yeah. Like, what I do, because I know with the things I talk about, I'm going to get banned. So I make sure to have my save automatically put on for all my videos. So then, though I have them backed up or have copies of them, and
mhm.
then if and when I do get banned, at least I can post them again. You know, um, but
See, I wish I could do that, but like I mean, I have a newer phone and it definitely has a lot more space than most phones do,
yeah,
but
you don't want to
it
be
my
packed.
phone's also like a year old and I have almost 7 different emails on it, so that also adds a lot more to the
Like, I've signed up to TikTok, um, in every possible way, with my phone number, with a false Twitter account, with about 6 different email accounts, with Apple, with Facebook. Like, I do not know how many accounts I've had since I started TikTok. I I
I
would think
know I've had
I
like ever since I got the app. Oh, you're cutting out again, so that's
it's probably because I'm on my phone now. Can you hear me?
yes.
Not good. That's actually a very bad thing for you if you can hear me. Um, but yeah, go on.
I I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, you were talking about logins or whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm gonna blame it on my ADHD.
You know that song "Blame It on the Sunshine" by the Jackson Five or whatever? Blame it on the ADHD. I don't know. It's a bit of a delay, I think. Um, but Like, I have basically signed up to TikTok a good maybe 15 times at the very least. And whether I've just deleted accounts, whether I've
Oh,
been banned, whether I've been cancelled. I don't know if you know about my whole cancelling era. Um, but yeah, like I had how many followers did I have? I had up to 25K on my very first account, and just due to the way I worded
mhm.
something, I got cancelled. I worded it badly, and they had basically tried to get me arrested.
Mhm.
So I was just like, fuck it.
Seriously?
But that wasn't even it. They also had TikTok
Yeah, that's
blacklist my phone. So, like, TikTok blacklisted my phone that I couldn't sign up. I couldn't find, like, my laptop wouldn't even find the website. Uh, I couldn't find it on iTunes. They really had some sort of issue with me, like everyone does.
yeah. Oop, all of my brothers are home. This is gonna be fun. Oh boy.
Oh, house of art. I would say I hate being in a house of art, but no,
Oh my God. Yeah, I know what you mean. Um, fucking
literally have a
yesterday. Oh my
lot.
God. I love them. They grew up with me, but they're fucking assholes.
All men
Like my
are though,
youngest brother, he's only 8 years old, and he has the mouth of a sailor.
Have you not met me? I'm like
Oh my God, he's worse than me, and I'm pretty bad, man. Like it's not okay, you know? Like
like see, the weird thing is
you like
I was
glitched really bad, and I don't even know how to explain it.
hang on. I'm
Okay,
gonna
I
load it
think
back in.
either me or you are glitching really bad. But
Probably me
I
and my
also
God
think
because I could help.
I couldn't hear a thing you said.
Hang on.
Yeah, I think you're glitching super bad. It might be, I don't even know what it would be. I don't know if I'm glitching at all. If I am, somebody let me know. Hmm. Okay. I think your live is glitching super bad, or mine is. That's a dog. But I think I'm gonna hop off and I might come on later if you and anybody else can still hear me, because something's going on and I don't know what it is. My thing says I have a good connection, but I've also been on here for almost an hour and I need to go eat. So I will talk to everybody later. I'm post-banned right now, so I won't be making videos at all till like tomorrow. But I hope everybody has a good day or evening or night or whatever. And I will talk to you guys later. Goodbye.